The last and only other time in the country's history that Congress held hearings on anti-Asian racism was 34 years ago, according to Erica Lee, a University of Minnesota professor who testified Thursday.
My students are traumatized. Our communities are traumatized.
Professor Lee touched on a lengthy history of targeted attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.
We've heard in the past 24 hours many describe anti-Asian discrimination and racial violence as un-American. Unfortunately, it is very American. In 1871, 17 Chinese were lynched by a mob of 500 in Los Angeles. This was the largest mass lynching in U.S. history. In 1942, President Roosevelt signed an executive order that allowed for the incarceration of 120,000 Japanese Americans as prisoners without trial.
When we are erased from our history books, we are made invisible. And the result, to quote Congresswoman Meng, is that we are perpetually made to feel like foreigners in our own country.
Many speakers brought up the racist rhetoric surrounding the pandemic, including how former President Trump and other lawmakers have tied COVID-19 to Asians. In opening statements, Representative Chip Roy criticized the nature of the hearing and then started complaining about the Chinese government.
Your president and your party and your colleagues can talk about issues with any other country that you want. But you don't have to do it by putting a bullseye on the back of Asian Americans across this country, on our grandparents, on our kids. This hearing was to address the hurt and pain of our community and to find solutions, and we will not let you take our voice away from us.
Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News.